What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Bad Diggity Dizzle, in need of a shave. Back with another video. This one is a little off topic from what I normally talk about. We're going to talk about Michael Jordan and LeBron James, since everybody seems to bring this up ever since The Last Dance came out. I know my boy Fisk Vegas, not a big Jordan fan, and I know that a lot of younger generation think that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. Of course, it's very difficult to compare the two. That's like me comparing, Akeem Olajuwon and Wilt Chamberlain. I never saw Wilt Chamberlain play. I'm old. I'm not that old. So I can say Olajuwon's the best center that I ever saw play, but I can't honestly tell you that he was better than Wilt Chamberlain. It is what it is there. So I can honestly say I saw Jordan ever since his rookie season. I've seen LeBron James, and LeBron James is one of the greatest players I've ever seen. He's the greatest player of this generation by far. It's not close, but when you're comparing these two guys, like I said, it's a little different. The eras are different. They play different positions, and they both have very different skill sets. You could say, well, if they played one-on-one, LeBron would win. You don't know that. His size isn't everything. Okay, LeBron James. I can say this about LeBron James. All right. Like I said, he's multifaceted. He can do a lot of different things. He can facilitate, he can shoot, he can drive. I always said that I've never seen a guy that drives at hoop like LeBron James. Whenever he drives at a hoop, you can't stop him. He's either going to score or get fouled. So, when I'm streaming all these Laker games, I'm watching LeBron pull up from 19 feet or shoot threes. I'm like, will you just drive to the hoop? They can't stop you when you drive to the hoop. I never saw any guy go to the hoop like LeBron James. You cannot stop him. He's a runaway locomotive. The dude is a big athletic freak of nature, and you can't stop him. Now, one of his drawbacks is he's not a very good free throw shooter. In his career, he's 73.5%. So, you should foul him when he goes to the hoop. But again, I've never seen a guy drive the hoop like that. But he's not a great jump shooter by any stretch of the imagination. So when people say, well, he's better than Jordan was, no, they're about the same. LeBron James, about 34.5% for his career. Jordan just under 33% from threes. So it's not like they were much different there. Jordan also was 10% higher from the free throw line, 83.5% compared to LeBron James' 73.5%. So we could talk about statistics all day. The one thing that really jumps out at me about LeBron James is LeBron James has never, outside of 2007, 2008, led the league. He's never led the league in any major offensive category. He led the league in scoring that year with 30 points a game. That is the only time in his career that he led the league in a major offensive category. Jordan led the league in scoring 10 times. And if he didn't retire after the 92-93 season, he probably would have led the league in scoring 12 straight years. Okay, Jordan averaged 30.1 points a game. So Jordan's career average points per game is more than LeBron James ever averaged at any season in his career. Jordan was also a 9-time all-defensive player. LeBron James was a 5-time all-defensive player. Jordan was 6 for 6 in MVPs, in the finals. 6-0 his Bulls were. They never went to a Game 7. Jordan won the MVP finals every time. LeBron James 3-6. Now, people are going to argue, well, he brought that terrible Cleveland team to the final. It don't matter. He didn't win. Okay, that's always the knock on all the great athletes. Did Dan Marino ever win? Was it Dan Marino's fault that the Dolphins never won a Super Bowl with Dan Marino there? Dan Marino did everything he could do, but that's always a knock on him. I don't care what LeBron James brought in the weak East to the finals. It doesn't matter. He lost. Then he went down to Miami, and he played with Bosh and Wade. So when everybody says, oh, Jordan never won without Pippen, we're going to get into Pippen in a second. But, of course, one great player does not beat great teams. I don't care about, he never had to play against a 73-win Warrior team. The game is different. It's a lot different. Okay, LeBron James is 3-6 in the finals, and against the Mavericks, a team that they had no business losing to in the finals. Jason Terry outplayed. He got outplayed by Jason Terry. I can tell you this: Michael Jordan would never, ever get outplayed by a guy like Jason Terry in the NBA Finals. It would not happen. And I always laugh when guys like, oh, he couldn't handle James Harden. He wasn't playing against these guys today. It's like you don't think Jordan was a great athlete. Jordan was not a small guy. Jordan was not 6'1", 175 pounds. He was 6'6", 205, 210 when he played. And he was one of the most athletically gifted players in NBA history, in sports history. And his will to win is unmatched. You don't need to like him as a person. I ain't saying Jordan's a great person by any stretch of the imagination. We're talking about how they are on the court. Well, Jordan never won without Pippen. Well, I'm going to tell you how much better Jordan made Pippen, okay? Because when Pippen left the Bulls, he averaged 14.5 points a game with the Rockets. That was the most he ever averaged after he left the Bulls. Because when he went to Portland for those 3 years, he never averaged more than 12.5 points a game. Jordan made Pippen way better. And Jordan never in his career had any player other than himself average 20 points in any playoff series. Okay? Jordan had to do most of this himself, and Jordan made players around him better because everybody was focused on Michael Jordan. And even when you were focused on Michael Jordan, you couldn't stop Michael Jordan. Okay, again, I saw both of these guys play, so I'm not just going on, well, I'm just looking at the statistics. Well, I watched some highlights. Oh, he played old teams. He didn't play anybody good. Stop. The game was different back then. Nowadays, you run up the court, you jack up a three. You're not running down the shot clock like they used to. Okay? There is no post game in the NBA these days. You know, the big man is a thing of the past. There are no Shaquille O'Neals anymore. There are no Patrick Ewings anymore. There are no Akeem Olajuwons anymore. There's no Rick Smiths anymore. There's no David Robinsons. There's none of these guys have really a post-up game. You just don't. The game is different. You can't hand check the way you could hand check back then. Okay? You can't foul the way you could back then. All right? Nowadays, you get hit a little hard, they go to the ring. Oh, that's a flagrant. That's not how it was. You could literally punch a guy in the face back then and not get called for a personal foul. See Game 5 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals when Robert Parrish punches Bill Laimbeer right in the face a number of times. And he doesn't even get a foul called on him. The game was much, much different. So when you went into the paint back then, you paid for it. I'm not saying LeBron James could not play in that era, but if you ever watch LeBron James play, you'll see every time he gets fouled, he complains. Well, if he was taking a hip check from Karl Malone, getting undercut by Dennis Rodman, or elbowed in the neck by Rick Mulhorn, or punched in the ear by Charles Barkley, it was a different game back then. So I always love when people are like, well, Jordan couldn't play in today's era. Stop. Just stop with that. Because if you're saying that, you didn't watch the man play. All right. Michael Jordan made everybody around him better. Michael Jordan did not have to go and chase championships like LeBron James. Because when people say, well, Michael Jordan had Pippen. Well, LeBron James had Wade and Bosh. Dwayne Wade's a Hall of Famer. And then when he went back to Cleveland, he had Kevin Love and he had Kyrie Irving. Okay, those are pretty good players too. Now he's in Los Angeles and he has Anthony Davis. Jordan never played with an Anthony Davis in his entire career. He never played with a guy that dominant. Ever. Okay? If you look at the actual things that these guys did, I'm not saying LeBron James isn't great. He's one of the 3 greatest players of all time. In my opinion, you have Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. Jordan is the guy that is the GOAT. Okay? He just is. It's just how it is. Jordan is the man. Okay? That killer instinct, that will to win, that drive, you can't teach that. He has that. Did he punch guys in practice? Was he not the greatest teammate? Maybe not. But he got the most out of his teammates. Because that guy, his competitive nature, his fire, his will to win, that set him apart from everybody else. I hated Jordan when he played. Hated him with a passion. I hated them damn Bulls because they always knocked my Knicks out of the playoffs. Always. 89, they knocked him out. 91, 92, 93, 96. I got sick of watching the Bulls beat the Knicks. I got sick of looking at Michael Jordan. I was sick of if I could be like Mike. Is it the shoes, Mike? It's got to be the shoes. I got sick of all of it. I hated it with a passion. But there's no way I'll ever deny that man's greatness. That guy was the greatest basketball player ever. Ever. LeBron, absolutely greatest player of this generation. It's not close. It's not close. LeBron is a phenomenal talent. There's no doubt about that. And he may lead the league in assists this year. I don't know what the NBA is going to do. I'm just going to give him the assist crown this year. And that's something that Jordan couldn't do. I'll admit that. There's no way Jordan could lead. Well, I shouldn't say that. If Jordan wanted to lead the league in assists, he could lead the league in assists. Maybe he couldn't lead the league in rebounds because he was only 6'6". But still, if Jordan wanted to lead the league in assists, he would have. And it's just that simple. Whatever Jordan wanted to do, he could do. I mean, he is absolutely the greatest player ever. But I always laugh when guys are like, well, he wouldn't have to, he couldn't guard Russell Westbrook. He couldn't guard this guy. Are you serious? Man, the guy played against Kobe Bryant in his prime. Showed up Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant came right out and said in The Last Dance, he modeled his entire game after Jordan. Okay? LeBron James is great. I love LeBron James. I'm a LeBron James fan. There are no commercials saying if I could be like LeBron. It's just not. It's just not the same thing. I can do this video for 20 minutes and tell you about the greatness of Michael Jordan. And again, I was there. I witnessed this guy play. I'm there now. I'm lucky. I got to see Magic. I got to see Bird. I got to see, Olajuwon and Ewing and Jordan and Pippen and Kobe and AI and Tracy McGrady when he was in his prime was nasty, and Vince Carter, and I'm watching LeBron James right now. I've seen some of the greatest players ever to grace the NBA, and I'm lucky that I got to see that. But I'm telling you right now, when it comes to LeBron and Jordan, Jordan's a GOAT. It's that simple. I don't care if you don't like him as a person. I don't care what you say about Jordan. All the statistics are in his favor, and you don't even need to look at the damn statistics. All you got to do is look at the way those teams won their championships. Well, he never had to acting like the NBA East was not a tough thing to go through. Acting like that 96 Sonics team wasn't any good, or the 93 Suns weren't any good, or that 92 Blazers team wasn't any good. Man, those teams are competing for the finals every year. Those were damn good teams that he was beating and not going to 7 games with and not losing and not giving up an NBA Finals. That guy is the GOAT. Plain and simple. That's all I got, because like I said, I could talk about this for another 10, 20 minutes. I'm not dragging this on. It's already 11 minutes long, and that's too long as it is. I said this before. LeBron is greatness. Jordan is GOATness. And that's all I got. It's Baddog, and I'm gone. Peace!